If you've ever wondered why Disney tales all end in lies.
Did you grow up wishing upon stars, using the Force, shooting webs, and believing everyone can cook? Well, if any of these statements sparked any kind of emotion in you, chances are you grew up with Disney just like me. Hi, my name is Ashlyn Dietz, and I'm here to tell you all about how Disney is ruining your childhood. Today is September 24th, and I'm recording in the audio suites at WT.
Here's what happened after all their dreams came true.
Welcome to the pilot of How Disney is Ruining Your Childhood. On today's episode, we're going to cover some basics. We all know what and who Disney is. We all know what a monopoly this beloved company has become, and we all know that it's probably safe to assume that most things are either owned or linked to Disney by now. But did you also know that Disney is a master manipulator? Throughout the show, I will go into how Disney is taking some of the best franchises and ruining them, like Marvel, Star Wars, The Muppets, and so on. But for starters, we have to first identify Disney as a wizard at their craft, which is manipulation. To clarify, movies are meant to manipulate. They evoke emotion in us and push us to think and often act a certain way. Color theory comes into play, music, the script, and so much more. That is not what I'm talking about. What I will be talking about is Disney's current favorite weapon, nostalgia. Do me a favor, close your eyes and just listen to these sounds.
We have our heading.
Here we go!
From the magic within our hearts to the adventure beyond the horizon, there is only one Disney.
I'm willing to bet one, if not all of those sounds made you feel a sort of warm, happy feeling, right? You probably grew up hearing those sounds a lot, and now you associate them with your childhood memories. This is nostalgia. But let's get more specific. What is nostalgia exactly? The Oxford Dictionary defines it as a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. Christine Bacho, a professor of psychology at Le Moyne College and a licensed psychologist, defines nostalgia as a longing for or missing for one's personal past. Nostalgia is actually a really cool concept. Throughout our lives, we grow and change. The person you are today is not the same person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even a year ago. Nostalgia takes our past selves and connects them to our present self, unifying us as a total person. In addition to this, nostalgia is a social emotion that connects us to others. Odds are, when I mention the word nostalgia, you think of your childhood, your parents, siblings, childhood friends, and so on. Another reason nostalgia is a healthy emotion is that it is a natural comfort. As creatures, we typically don't love change. Maybe because it's threatening, because we're not exactly sure of the outcome of change, but whatever the reasoning, it tends to scare most people. Nostalgia combats that by bringing up past memories and experiences, ultimately reminding us that we've gone through change before and that we made it last time. And although this may seem obvious, it's also comforting because it's bringing us back to times when we were happy. Lastly, nostalgia is often seen as bittersweet. We reminisce about the good old days and remember them fondly, but at the same time, we realize that those days are over and never again achievable. We're only able to revisit those memories in our brains, and it's impossible to relive them. That's where Disney got the bright idea to let us relive our childhood. See, based on research, nostalgia peaks in young adulthood. You're all grown up and figuring out independence while still trying to hold on to your childhood because your nostalgia is telling you those were the best years of your life. So, why come up with original content when Disney can bank off of this simple human emotion? The last original strictly Disney studio film, meaning not Pixar, not Marvel, was Raya and the Last Dragon. Seeing how that came out this year, one might assume that Disney is still kicking and putting out original content. But did you know that before that, the last original Disney movie was Moana, which was 5 years ago? And your first thought might be, well, maybe it just takes that long to create a good new movie. No, it does not. Not for Disney anyway. In between those two films, we've had the live-action Beauty and the Beast, Pirates of the Caribbean 5, Christopher Robin, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Mary Poppins Returns, the live-action Dumbo, the live-action Aladdin, the live-action Lion King, Maleficent Mistress of Evil, the live-action Lady and the Tramp, Frozen 2, and the live-action Mulan. You can probably tell where I'm going with this, but bear with me. Disney knows its audience. Sure, most Disney movies are still targeted at people of all ages, especially children. But they also know that a large portion of their devoted fans are now adults. In a world where nostalgia is becoming more and more important in Hollywood, what with reboots, reunions, and remakes, Disney has an unfair advantage. Their fans were raised on Disney. Disney brought up generations Y and Z, and now that we're all adults, Disney still has a hold on us, like the sweet third parent they are. Disney has literally shaped our world. It's all over, and there's no escaping it. And what better way to use this superpower than to make more money, right? I mean, why not? Especially when it takes zero effort. All it takes is knowing your audience, and Disney knows their audience. Kudos to them. I just have a few issues, and I think you should too. Disney's mission statement is this: to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting the iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make ours the world's premier entertainment company. Just a couple of things. Unparalleled storytelling. Well, seeing as how the 12 above mentioned movies are all either sequels or identical remakes of the original cartoons, just set in live action, I'd say that part of the mission statement is a lie, or a failure. But moving on. Creative minds. Well, if taking a beloved movie and remaking it with a tiny, mostly unnoticeable modern twist is creative, then good job, Disney. You've really hired the best. But let's look at an example. Beauty and the Beast. A story filled with patriarchy, sexism, Stockholm Syndrome, and other fundamentally flawed concepts. But that's okay. That movie came out in the 90s. We've since grown as a society and moved past teaching our daughters to stay in abusive relationships and depend on men for money. Or have we? Well, judging the fact that Disney re-released Beauty and the Beast, starring a very influential woman of Hollywood, might say otherwise. But Disney spun the story, right? In the 2017 version, Belle is an inventor. She invents a washing machine. And don't worry, they give Gaston more of a backstory, making him almost more likable. Other than that, the enchantment gets a little more explanation, which is nice because the original has a ton of plot holes surrounding the timeline of the curse. And besides this, the fact that they attempted to make the movie a little more politically correct by changing LeFou's character to make him gay, the story is the same. And so unfortunately are the shots. As far as the directing goes, a large handful of the shots are almost perfectly mirrored off the cartoon film. Now, I'm not saying all of this to bash the story of Beauty and the Beast and raise awareness to how flawed it actually is, although if I did that in the process, I am more than okay with that too. But hey, let's save that for another episode. The reason I bring this up is to show you that however sentimental or warm you feel about all of the movies you grew up on being re-released, they're not new, they're not original, they're not even creative. But you watched them, didn't you? You might have even paid to see them in theaters. And that is exactly how Disney is using nostalgia to take your money and manipulate you. Hey, thanks for sticking to the end of how Disney is ruining your childhood, where inevitably I am also probably responsible for ruining your childhood. But hey, somebody's got to open your eyes.
Ever wondered why Disney tales all end in lies? Here's what happened after all their dreams came true.